All right, this is the after chapter discussion for 10.01. I'm Mr. Wiggles. I'm going to be hosting with Ederon today, and we're going to go over the deets of the chapter and everything. We're gonna be talking a lot about it. But for now, let's just get into everyone's general impressions. Anything, um, anything you really loved about the chapter? Anything that stuck out to you? Anything you didn't like? I know at least one person here doesn't like the box. Maybe you want to talk about how much you don't like the box. Otherwise, any general thing. Adron, do you want to get us started?
Yes, I personally love the chapter title Emotional Damage because, my goodness, it started a bit slow because it was called box was the password, and the box wasn't really in play for the last bit of the chapter, but everything else also was awesome, more into Lionette's point of view, and her struggles. That was interesting. Then obviously the big meet in the city where Lionette ripped Selys a new one. That was fucking brutal, and I can't wait to hear everybody's opinion on it later on. And obviously the box, we even got a little introduction into currency from Inworld. It was nice. Felt like watching an episode of Spice and Wolf again. And then obviously the money printing. It's what everybody thought. It's what they did. I said the skill has to be broken, and it fucking is broken. Infinite money hack on.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
infinite money until they decide to do something else, and then it'll never work again.
That's true. They got to get as much money as they can first, and then
You
turn.
you just have to fill a room with gold coins, and you are done for life. And
Yeah.
they have a whole fucking garden to fill it up, have like a quadrillion gold coins, and then you don't have to duplicate. You can then duplicate silver coins if you need to. So, or diamonds. This thing is absolutely broken, and I love it.
Yeah, it is really crazy so far. You know, there might be a catch down the road. There might
Yeah,
be. We'll see. But
maybe it's slowly killing Aaron.
I
Nobody knows.
I don't think it's that, but I really hope it's not that. But we'll talk about the box more in depth later on.
She's
I
using 10 seconds of life for every gold coin.
no. Holy, okay. She's gonna be dead in a day. Good to know, Edron. Anyways, yeah. Thank you for your general impression. Mine is very similar. This was a jam-packed chapter. We had a lot of setup for a lot of different plots. We had Kolfa coming to the end, you know, kind of getting to know Lionette a lot better. We had obviously the gold creation, getting the end to be as rich as all of Salazar, basically. Then we had Selys just completely going crazy about Lionette, basically, and we also had the Order of Solstice going out and trying to get the village of Rearguest to come back to Liscor. So we just had a ton of plots being started for what is a lot of stuff to do in Liscor in the near term. So that's really cool. And obviously we had the box. We had a lot of in-depth look into what the box is and what it's going to do for the end. And that's awesome too. So this was 9 out of 10 chapter for me. It was great. Loved it. Absolutely fantastic. All right. I really want to talk about like Selys and all that, but we will definitely talk about the box. Because obviously, if the number of questions related to the box is anything to go by, a lot of people have questions about it. and thoughts. Anyways, Sado says, I love the box. I am sad about Tessa. Absolutely very sad about Tessa myself. She's it I think it really does have to do with Ayert using his skill against her, that restore
Yeah.
addiction skill. Like that really drove her over the edge.
I told that is one of the most disgusting things Pirate has ever created. I know people with addictions, and this is a life-destroying skill.
Yeah, it's one of the
Ugh.
worst skills ever.
Yep.
And using it on Tessa of all people, it's really hard. It's really hard for her. Anyways, let's get a couple people talking, and then I'll read out the rest of the comments. Yash Ketchum, you wanted to speak.
Hello. So I'm so glad to be back. This was so I read the first and the second chapter together. So it's all mushed up in my head. But what I like so far is the momentum of the story. I feel like I don't know, maybe not towards the end, but a lot of the last volume, we didn't see a lot of plot progression. We saw a lot of cute moments and stuff. And I guess that was needed after Erin came back. But I like that whenever Erin is not around, we get plot progression. And I liked the overall chapter, of course. But what I really liked is delving into like Lynette's inner thoughts and looking at the in through different perspectives. That was really cool. I just want to give like overall thoughts on the chapter. Of course, it was a great chapter. Somehow, I don't know if you guys can feel it or if it is coming through, but the tone of the story seems much more different than it was last volume. It feels that was so cute. But anyways, it feels like it feels very refreshed, and I really like that.
Do you have
Yeah,
a highlight from the chapter? Something that stood out to you? A moment?
something that stood out. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I suppose it would be like the bitch fight between Selys and Lynette. That was
Mm-hmm.
epic. That was
Mm-hmm.
epic. I just wanted like them to start like bitch slapping each other as well, like or somebody to pull off the gloves. Like, I wanted that so bad, but it's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. And like, but I was shocked. Series, we'll talk about it later. Yeah, yeah, but that
Thank
was a
you.
highlight. Yeah,
Yeah, that fight was amazing, especially when Lionette just decided to go off the rails with their attacks against Selys.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. Thank you, Yash. You're right that the tone has definitely changed, and a lot of that definitely does have to do with Erin being gone and the consequences of why she's gone. But yeah, the tone is very different from what we started off with Volume 9. And even later on in Volume 9 for a lot of the time. Alright, Bleach Soul, what'd you think? General impressions.
Yes, I loved this chapter. I'll give it actually a 10 out of 10. I really
Oh.
love the focus on Lionette, and because she I don't know, like when Erin is around, she's like, I don't know, like missing or unsignificant, and it's really sad that she's only significant when Erin is not. She gets significant role when Erin is not around. So I'm really happy for that direction. I was actually surprised that it focused on Lionette. I thought it will be Erin focused the first two chapters, but I'm glad for it. Besides, I really like the many plot points that she's involved in right now, like the political intrigue with her mother, and um, and I love that the dress plot has come back. I really liked her confrontation with Selys. Yeah, it was. I mean, I understand Selys' situation; she's mourning and stuff, but I'm glad that Leonard didn't hold back, and also the plot point about Yellow and his math and magic. So I think he gonna make like a huge breakthrough in the plot, and like Lionette taking care of the villagers and sending people after Tessa, and she's like doing so many things. I'm really glad that Lionette got to shine, but it's
Mm.
unfortunate. But it's unfortunate, like she only does that in the absence of Aaron. So
I,
yeah, that
I understand what you mean. Aaron is always throwing a big shadow and swallowing everybody up when she's on screen and doing her solstice moments. Other people don't really have time to shine because she's like 10 suns when she's going crazy. Do you have a favorite moment from the chapter? Something that stood out?
um, favorite moment. I have to say the argument with Selys, because I was really like I was thinking, oh man, Lynette will gonna hold her punches. She's not gonna, and then she like and she remembered her mother, and she became her mother at that point and just went for the jugular. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was like brutal, but I thought it was also great Lionette moment. That's it.
Wonderful. Are there more comments? Or
Uh,
somebody else
yeah,
wanted to talk?
I don't see anyone else that wants to talk, so I'll just read out the rest of the comments. But I completely forgot about Yelron's little magic
Ooh.
math thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot. There's just so many different plots going on in this chapter that that one just completely went out of my head. But yeah, you're right, Bleach. So that's a great plot that's going to be coming up soon, or well, maybe not soon, but it's a great plot that's been started. All
I have
right.
a feeling this is something that the gnomes have done, like back in the past, getting close to like the root of magic through other maybe not math but other means, and he is maybe on their footsteps with his idea.
Yeah, maybe not even just the gnomes. Like the Mage of Magic's End. He probably was close to this too. Close to some truth that he just wanted to test at the end of the day, and then that led to the end of magic. But whatever, who cares? Who cares?
Whatever.
All right, let's read out the comments, and then we'll go on to our first question.
Mm-hmm.
Lanu says, so my impression is that I got to the pasta stuff and I've not gotten past it yet. I will tomorrow, but it seems like interesting chapter because everyone is talking about some skill that for sure will not be broken because no level 50 skill is breaking the entire world. That's level 90 territory. A few thousand years ago, level 50 was your basic ass golden rank, not some legend like today. So the system had to create countless amount of level 50 skills. Oh man, Lou coming in hard with that opinion, just
Mm-hmm.
shutting everyone down on the box speculation. All right. We'll see.
Even
We'll
more
see.
emotional damage.
Very sad. All right. Wovlu says, I liked this chapter, but it did make me really dislike Palt. Selys makes sense for the most part, kind of, but Palt got off easy and he's acting like Aaron personally stabbed Amani. It also made me really like Kolfa. She's a cool character, and I look forward to seeing more of this rear guest and vampire plot. It seems like Liskor is now going to be home for the shadowy side of Liskor, with vampires and necromancers making a home around there. I think you meant shadowy side of Israel, but yeah, uh, it it's it's turning out. It's basically turning into another city of graves. Like if we're drawing comparisons here, there's a city of graves right under there, and we're getting necromancers coming, we're getting vampires coming. It's going back to its roots.
Mm-hmm. And we even have a necromancer who could revive the runes down there.
Exactly. It's all coming together. We're getting City of Graves version 2.0, the better version that doesn't, get everyone to come and kill it. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, yet. Sado says, remember though, Lino, it's a level 50 skill that Aaron directly bargained with the grand design of Isthikenes for. going through and rejecting many other choices. While true, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the most powerful skill ever. It was noted in that blog by the system that it was the most difficult skill for the system to create ever, which is interesting and kind of makes sense because only one facet of it is just straight up item duplication of anything. So, well, okay, I shouldn't say anything because we don't actually know if it is anything, but so far it's anything. Sevsir says, point of order, her name is Mani now. She lost her eye. Wow, thank you for that pun. I really enjoyed it.
Man.
Really enjoyed it. Sir Bear says, I like the personal stuff with Yelron, Kolfa, Imani, and Selys, among others. It's great to develop those characters that are still there. There's obviously something else I hate, but that's another discussion. I wish I had more personal focus in the previous chapter and this one because that's one great strength of TWI. I want more Numtung. The bartender Leon wants to hire. Definitively Mern. And Onivia/Salus. 9 of 10 for those parts, 5 of 10 for the other part I hate because despite me hating it, it was explained well. Arca delenda est. Dark Time Goo and yeah, Sir Bar, we'll definitely get to the part you hate, obviously. That'll be a significant part of this discussion. But first, we're going to talk about some stuff I think you liked more. Dark Time Guru says, oh my gosh, Sivsir. Dark Time Guru says, Yelron should ask Grimalkin for advice for his magic measurements since he's an absolute unit. Oh, man. The puns, they hurt. They really do. Linu says, please say that it made me look like a very smug cat IRL right now. Right meow. Okay. Linu's looking very smug right now. And Sivsir says, this chapter was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. The drama was delicious, and I'd love to see Aaron's actions have consequences. Selys burning the bridge now that she's personally been hurt by Aaron is amazing. It's long overdue. Aaron managed to dodge his last volume on account of being dead, but now people are finally seeing how far that Aaron will go. And while Aaron didn't intend her friends to ditch her for this, I don't think she'll think it's a bad outcome. Aaron is ride or die, and she doesn't have room for fair weather friends. Lionette was fantastic in this chapter. I can just feel her flailing as once again Aaron leaves her behind with consequence. So I do agree with you, Sivsir, that Aaron won't see it as a truly bad thing that her friends are distancing themselves from her. But I don't think it's because she, is only for ride or die friends and no fair weather friends. I think it's more that she's okay with them leaving because she knows that if they stay her friends, she's going to ask them to do something that might hurt them in the future. So she cares about them a lot, but at the same time, if they're not her friends, like as close as her friends, she won't feel the need to ask them to do all this horribly difficult stuff. So I think that's why she would be okay with them distancing themselves from her rather than, being stuck on whether they're fair weather friends or not. But thank you, Sipsir. Mario says, I love this chapter. I love Leon taking action that Aaron would not. She has her own way of making people work together and make stuff happen. It was really nice that she is developing that friendship with the Kolfa, with Kolfa and the Volishals. It's sad that she didn't think of Selys when she was looking for someone, not that they would be able to interact. Anyways, I'm hyped for glorious hyperinflation Sasuga Lionette Ojo-sama. Okay, we gotta save the boxes session. Okay, we're gonna save it. Not gonna talk about hyperinflation yet. All right, any last minute ads, Aderon?
Nope.
All
Let's
right.
go on to the first question.
I think we should start us off with the Selys talk.
Yes, I
let's
agree.
Just go in, talk about some Selys. was her reaction appropriate this chapter? And how do you feel about her actions this chapter? And how do you feel about how Lionette responded?
I loved it. First of all, I was hesitant because I just to go back to the scene. I didn't know Selys had an aura. It's probably because of her errors, and she is now ladylike and has power or something. Then I thought, how can Selys keep up with Lionette, a trained princess, and with a good level? And then Lionette got serious and just crushed her aura and ripped her a new one. I loved it. It's understandable how Selys felt. I still think it's understandable, but like Lionette said, that was just petty revenge. Get go and go after the inn. Go after Aaron, go after Lionette if you have a bone to pick with them, but don't drag innocent people into this into the feud. And yeah, what Lionette said was hurtful, it was mean, and it was perfect, in my opinion.
In a lot of ways, I do think Selys is shaping up to be an antagonist in Liscor for the Wandering Inn. Like,
Ooh,
uh,
that would be sad. The new Lism.
yeah, it kind of seems like that to me at this point. Like, her reaction, she stopped the whole Reargus thing in its tracks simply because the
Mhm.
Wandering Inn wanted it. Like, there was no other reason, no other legitimate reason, I should say, for Celis to do that. Like,
Mhm.
she came up with reasons in the moment to say, okay, obviously the Wandering Inn is doing this, and these are necromancers, so they're going to be bad for us. But it's like those are. She's been getting along with Pisces for several volumes now, utilizing his undead, and so she knows that necromancers aren't all. You can't paint them all with one brushstroke. But now that the Wandering Inn is involved, she's like, nope, this isn't happening. And I
Even more
kind of
than oh sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Even more than getting she was a love interest for Pisces. There were so many Pisces X Celis ships. It's insane.
Yeah,
And all of that just and the line that sells Chivatel loved the inn more than the whole city. My goodness, every line, every insult just slapped. And I had to think about it. Has Celis? I mean, she fought against the undead when they got into the city.
yeah.
But anything else, I can't really. No, Lynette was right.
In a
Celis,
lot
I
of
mean,
ways, yeah.
it's my goodness.
It does make sense to me, like why Celis is so angry. Like I get it. This
Yeah.
was the the biggest catastrophe that the Wandering Inn has brought on Liscor ever. There's like not even a comparison in the past for what's happened from the Wandering Inn to Liscor. So it's like I understand that Celis is rightfully really hurt by this and losing her grandmother, but the way she went about it to me is just awful in so
Mhm.
many ways. Just because she's using, as you said, she's using innocent lives um, to use them as payback against the Wandering Inn. And it's really bleh, bleh, bleh. Anyways, let's move on to some of the comments. Yash, you wanted to speak first?
Yes, sir. So I wanna try playing the devil's advocate here. Okay. Because we know that pirate doesn't just character assassinate people. There's often a reason and a deep rooted reason. We know that pirates, as an author, we have to respect her ability to display nuance. Now, if I look at Selys as a character, um, who does she have in the way of family? As far as I know, she doesn't have parents. Her parental figure was her grandmother. She also had an uncle, and she has some relatives, I suppose, in Alas, but they're not particularly close. And yeah, so at this point, she's lost her uncle in a way related to what has happened with the Wandering Inn, and she's lost. Now, there's no proof that, Texia, Texia wouldn't have died otherwise either, but uh, the common thread between the death of her only family is the Wandering Inn. And I think it's fair enough for her to be angry at the Wandering Inn. But let's say I was angry about something. Now, usually, when I'm angry about something and I'm extremely lonely and I don't know how to process that anger, I'll take it out on the people that I love the most. It's contradictory, yes, but that's a very lonely person thing to do. That you push away the people, few people who may even be there for you. Right. And mental state aside, let's look at her arguments. Um, in terms of what the Wandering Hen has had to go through directly due to Erin or indirectly due to Erin. Do you think there is merit to her arguments?
Well,
Like,
there's some merit, like there's some, but at the same time, it it's saying that because the Wandering Inn wants to do something, that means that it's going to turn out
no, no,
negative.
no. We're not
I
discussing that at all. We're not discussing rear guest here at all. Her arguments against the or her accusations against the Wandering Inn, is there merit to it?
There
Um,
is. I mean, look at what uh Lionel even said that Aaron defended the city so often, and the shit that happens would have happened even if she wouldn't. The Goblin Lord would have shown up even if Aaron wouldn't have been there. And as a hero, Cell would have fought him anyway at somehow at some point. If he would have died, nobody knows. And the winter solstice,
I think
mm,
that you can lay the blame like fully on Aaron simply because without
yeah,
Aaron in the vicinity of Liskor would have been fine.
that's true. But
Okay,
Liska would have been destroyed otherwise by the moths, by Skinner, by anything else. Liska would have been gone for a long time if Aaron wouldn't have been there. So whatever. I don't. It's hard.
it is, right? So I feel like there is a reason why, Pirate is trying to paint Selys as or doing a fantastic job at, assassinating her character. But I feel like it's going to point to something like, we discussed the possibility of Selys turning into a bitter character or a negative character for the story. I also feel like more than that, Selys represents, or Selys is supposed to be the representative voice for the entire city of Liskov. And I feel like nobody suited that role better than Selys. If you wanted one person to express how an entire city is feeling, I think what Selys is feeling represents that pretty well. What do you guys say? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's clear that there's a large majority of the people in Liskor who have some serious issues with the Wandering Inn now. Like it it, it seems a common opinion amongst Liskorians. That's why the Wandering Inn was firebombed. That's why the Wandering Inn has kind of moved a day's walk away. I think it was something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely Celis's point of view definitely does represent a significant portion of Liskor's population. I will
So,
agree with that.
given that, can we expect the wandering into dissociate from a city and become something more of a haven style inn, like the way Lara Cell says, where the wandering inn may completely stop paying taxes to Liskor and completely dissociate itself from the city and be an independent entity? where yeah, go on.
I do see that happening, yeah, because like just with Rearguest in general, like they're going to bring Rearguest to somewhere near Liscor, and they're going to buy the land for Rearguest. I'm assuming they're going to do something like that, and at the end of the day, that means Rearguest owes everything they own basically to Liscor, or sorry, they own it to the Wandering Inn, not Liscor. So it's like, yeah, I can definitely see the Wandering and kind of disassociating from Liscor in a lot of ways in the upcoming volume and kind of becoming its own separate entity.
And I think this is going to do a lot. I think this is set up for how Lynette is going to level in her class because she's princess of the inn. How can she how can she be a princess if she has no subjects? And her subjects cannot be limited to the people in the inn, right? After a point, the inn's aegis is gonna spread. And I think this is how her character arc is going to develop this volume.
But I think it would be sad if they really would disconnect from the city, because the city started to really depend on the inn and accepted them, and it's they were a part of Liscor. Aaron loves Liscor, and just to be like disconnected from them would be sad.
You know, it does.
Absolutely. But
Go ahead.
some
Yes.
mistakes maybe are just not forgivable,
At, just to contrast that, I will say that it doesn't have to be a permanent disconnection from them. They still have the door to Liscor. They can still come back in the future if they're able to work out their differences. I don't think it has to
Sure,
be
but
permanent.
then I don't think they're ever gonna get like a citizenship or a resident status of Liscor. I think they're gonna have to be independent entities. I don't think they'll be like they may pay a tribute to Liscor, but I don't think it'll be taxes. I think that structure is going to change in the future.
Yeah, they'll be allies rather than friends. Kind of
Yeah,
is how I see it.
yeah.
All right. We do have to move on though.
Yeah, what did I
Um
say to Bleach Soul?
yeah, please. So how about you go next, and we'll read out comments, and then we'll go to the next one.
All right. So I empathize with Selys. They are. I mean, like her grandmother died to a necromancer, or the ultimate necromancer, Casigna, and her uncle died to a necromancer. Her parents died to necromancers. So I understand her reluctance to necromancy. But she was anyway. She was still friends with Pisces. So I think even though with all the necromancy stuff, she just did this out of spite to the Wandering Inn. The thing is, I want the Wandering Inn to disassociate with the score. Just have like trading, and like using the door and just trading partner and nothing more. Because I do believe like Lionette needs to. I mean, like the Wandering Inn, it's its own thing, instead of relying on a city. Besides, the uh, Selys stuff. I mean, it was. I mean, Selys maybe should have given the armor to someone. I don't remember if she gave it to someone to defend the score, or maybe give it to her grandmother or whatever. But I think like Lionette hit a sore nerve about Selys being an heiress and doing nothing to protect the city, while Aaron actually saved like the score on several occasions, uh, which actually got glanced off. Besides, I believe in the new snap election that will happen, maybe Celis will run probably, and she will have a seat. She will be like a proponent of the Wandering Inn, and she will probably have nothing to do with or try to have Lescore to have nothing to do with the Wandering Inn outside of trade. Yeah, but I see like that way going for Celis, at least for now. Maybe she will mellow out like in a couple of weeks when her grief subsides. But I see her becoming like quite the proponent of the Wandering Inn, and not anybody else. Yes, that's it.
All right. Thank you, Bleach Soul. Do you have any reply to that, Edoran?
Nope.
All right. I think we'll just start reading out the comments then. And then, Edoran, you should pick out the next question. Just have it
Already
ready.
on it.
All right. Good. I will read things out now. Action Kermit says, I don't think there's going to be hyperinflation because the Blighted King destroys vast amounts of gold to create those cheap pay-to-win gacha treasure beams. Lionett can't possibly offset his consumption just by using Aaron's skill to make money, and that's not counting other people in the world who presumably also have skills that burn money for stuff. I won't reply to that for now, but thank you, Kermit. That was relating to our general impression discussion. Mystical Pie says, Selys's rage is appropriate. She just lost her only family, the woman that raised her, and it was Aaron's fault. Yes, Takshia chose to go out defending the city, but also that army would not be there if Aaron hadn't challenged Casigna. Lionett's reaction was also appropriate because Selys is taking her grief and using it to hurt other victims of the solstice and Liscor's working class. Grief is irrational, and what people do in its wake can seem counterintuitive. Absolutely, you're right that grief isn't irrational, and it's not going to follow a logical path. I fully understand that what Selys is doing here doesn't need to be rational. I still don't like it. That's all. Edge Dancer says, Selys had some appropriate reactions. I don't think dragging in a group of people who suffered even more than she did from the solstice into a scuffle with the Wandering Inn is appropriate, though. She deserved Leon ripping her a new one. If anything, she got it off easy. Imagine not taking the opportunity to download a mage picture of Takshia's memory of your parents when you were rich before the solstice. It also pisses me off that Selys is saying this from a position of privilege. Good points, Edge Dancer. Good points. Sidehammer says, Selys outing an entire village in need as necromancers was petty beyond belief. That seems to be a common refrain from everyone so far. Kainia says, she also blames Zell's death on the inn, unless there's something I'm misremembering. They had no fault in that one. You can say they had some fault in it because without Ryoka being there, Zell would not have learned of the necromancer's return, and maybe he wouldn't have accepted Magnolia's proposal to lead her army against the Goblin Lord.
I think he didn't even know about. Did he know? Didn't know that there already? I think Magnolia just wanted him for his army, and he always wanted to have him for his army.
Oh yeah, she did. She always wanted him to, but I
She
don't know.
always wanted him.
You could make the argument that without the Wandering Inn, Zell wouldn't have accepted that because he wouldn't have gotten to know a
Yeah,
few humans so well so soon before
that's
Magnolia
true.
gave him that proposal. But it's a very loosely, it's very flimsy, and I'm not going to say that's Selys is right in blaming the inn for Zell's death, because obviously that's pretty flimsy reasoning. Wevwu says, I feel like her actions are understandable but not appropriate for many reasons. Selys isn't stupid. She knows that Liscor wouldn't exist anymore without Aaron. Tyrion/Goblin Lord would have wiped Liscor out a long time ago without Aaron. Now she's lashing out at anyone tied to the inn, she wants to hurt Aaron in the end. She deserved getting dragged through the mud by Lionett. The pain and rage she's feeling is justified, but that is not an excuse for how she's handling it. Void22 says, all of the score would have been destroyed in V5, Volume 5. Frankly, they've not even broken even with Aaron. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear to most people, it seems like, that Selys isn't, thinking rationally about this and what Aaron has done. Sir Bear says Selys was definitively the second highlight of the chapter. Her parents died to Ash Crash. Her uncle died to a Goblin Lord Necromancer. Technically Ash Crash, but still a Necro. And now her grandmother died to a Casigna, the goddess of necromancers. Grief can cause people to change differently, as we saw Selys wearing a mourning dress after a month. There's exceptional cases for that, like Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom, who famously never left her castle after the death of her husband and was still grieving for decades. I wonder how Pisces would react to that conversation between Lynette and Selys, and if Selys would dare to say those words. I wish someone would destroy / remove the bone horrors in the sewers and watch Liscor have sewer problems again. Bronze rank adventurers dying from that, and Selys having to do those administrative forms. Arca delenda est. Civ Seer says, Civ thoughts, Selys? Holy shit, did Lynette lay into Selys? It was beautiful. Erin's left her mark on Lynette because she went about that verbal fight like Erin does in a real fight, right for the throat. It was glorious. The whole headbutt your dead Nana's grave because it's what she'd be doing right now was just brutal. I'm so eager to see how this bridge continues to burn. There's going to be a few house fires from this. Selys' reaction to me reeks of cope. Selys knows on a level that this isn't Erin's fault. That's why she's treating Erin like the worst thing ever. It's a reaction to her grief. She wants to be angry at Erin, but she knows on a subconscious level this wasn't entirely Erin's fault. She's angry. That's why she's going so hard. It's an intentional overreaction on her part because she still does care for Erin and it's hurting her. That's why she's blaming Erin for stuff completely unrelated to her, like Zell. Erin barely interacted with Zell if you think about it. Zell was Lynette and Marcia's friends, not Erin's. Every happy memory Selys has with Erin is clashing with her grief, so she's pivoted to making Erin into this antichrist figure in her head so she can feel justified in hating her. What Selys is doing in response to this is cruel. She was entitled to her grief, but what she's done in this chapter was a bad thing. I'm looking forward to this new villain arc for Selys, because fundamentally Selys is still a good person, and she's going to wake up one day and go, wait, why am I surrounded by assholes? That's going to be a glorious moment. We'll see how far Pirate Appa is willing to take this villain arc for Selys, Civ, but yeah, I agree with a lot of what you just said. It was very well put. Sir Better says, fun fact, Lynette is a citizen of Liscor after 6.49. I put in an inconsistency / typo in the chapter comments. They linked, they have a quote from 6.49 that reads, oh, you're free to decline. However, the council would also agree to discount your taxes by this much if you accept, and put you in for a citizenship along with your wards, Miss Lynette and Miss Mercia. Perhaps a provisional entry permit for your employee, Mr. Numtung. Dark Time Guru says Keldros had the armor. He set it on fire. Yes, he had the armor during the solstice. So Selys did, contribute something to the solstice fight. Dark Time Guru's replies to Kyneas by saying Zell died because he got cursed by a Doombringer when he stayed at the inn. Okay. Not true. The Doombringer only brings luck and not doom. Okay. Now we got through all the questions, I think, or all the comments. So how about we move on to the next question? Which,
Yes.
Adron, what is it?
Box.
Oh man, we're moving straight into the box. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe going to Kulfar, but
Everyone wants to talk about the box.
everybody wants to talk about the box. Yeah. This is just one of the box questions. Feel free to talk about the box in general, your thoughts.
Yeah.
And Mr. Wiggles, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I'll just read out the question real fast. Do you think there will be significant consequences for using the box? And, well, okay, there could be very significant consequences, even without, discounting anything you put into the box itself. Other people learning about what the box does in any capacity is extremely dangerous to the end. there's so much that could go wrong for the N if anyone learns about what the box does, because as we saw, Lionette worrying about this, and Yelrone worrying about this, like if the Merchants Guild knew that Aaron could effectively duplicate anything, they would send assassins after her immediately, because that's something the Merchants Guild can't control. Regardless, they're not slavers. At the end of the day, they're not the slaver. They're not Rochelle, so they can't physically control Erin if she wants to duplicate 1 billion gold coins and completely crash the economy. The only recourse that really would be available to them is to kill Erin. And so there are some very significant consequences and very significant enemies that Erin can make if the ability of the box ever becomes public knowledge. So I think that's one significant thing they absolutely need to have, not have it leave the inn at all. And to do that, they need Tessa back at the very least. They do need Tessa back. So I really hope that's like a primary concern for Lionette is getting Tessa back. But what do you think, Edoron? What kind of significant consequences do you see?
I think you're thinking a bit too small about the merchants. Any superpower on the planet would either kill her for that skill or try to somehow get control of her. I'm not even sure that Nias would would be so calm and like support her and do everything, because this is, again, in my opinion, the most broken skill we have ever seen in the Wandering Inn so far, and it is even just the basic of the skill. Maybe it will change because we don't know if there are any drawbacks, but to be able to duplicate any items, any superpower, that this item alone can be a danger for nations if it's misused. I mean, imagine you can maybe duplicate scrolls of mass destruction, scrolls of mass teleportation. It's my godness. Again, we don't know anything. We don't know everything about this yet. But if there are really no limitations, this is too dangerous to even exist. And I love it. Like I said, level 50, be broken.
I'm really looking forward to learning about the other aspects of the box, or the skill itself, not the box. I think we know, well, maybe we don't know all the aspects of the box of end continuity even, because we still haven't seen anyone try to put any significantly magical item in, that we I kind of think the box won't be able to replicate that kind of stuff, but we still haven't seen anyone try, so it's up in the air. Anyways, I think I'll read out one comment because Sir Bear obviously has a lot of hate for the box, and I want to see if anyone else has anything to add on after I read this. Then we'll go to Bleach Soul and Yash. Sir Bear says, I hate the box so much. For context, foundational recreation of mundanity, a spell that can duplicate a non-magical item, is a tier 7 to 8 spell, and it got limits. As far as we know, only Terry can cast the spell right now. A fucking level 50 skill does the same thing better. I doubt the level 50 mages can cast foundational recreation of mundanity. Obviously, there's a 57 range for level up, but still. Oh, the drawback of copying an item only in one session? Worthless. Not a true drawback. If you keep the box going and have multiple lives worth of that item, you don't need to duplicate it again. Do you seriously think the inn will need more garlic, especially with the field of preservation? They have enough garlic for years and years. Also, now, every fucking reader will ask the damn question, need more X? Just use the box, lol. Just use that in box, Paradeppa. That's the problem with every duplicating machine. It's a cheat code. It made everything worthless. Obviously, there's the social limits mentioned this chapter, like being in danger because you got a fucking duplicating machine. Transmutation to gold is famously banned because it can break the economy. To verify that there's probably a money class with skill to verify if those things happen. Guess what Lionette technically just did? The box can break the economy in an infinite amount of time, so once someone learns about it, the inn will be destroyed by a nuke, everyone will die, and Aaron will be killed in pace, even by our friends. Also, the box got other unknown aspects, which makes it even more broken for a fucking 50 to 70 skill. Also, as we learned in the epilogue, Aaron can use another inn for the garden. By the way, my bet is that's how Aaron will go back to Liscor. So now she can teleport almost everywhere, duplicate everything non-magical, at least for now, and do other unknown. Congratulations, Pineapple, you created broken skill. It can't be used because it's too broken for the world, and Aaron will have something stronger later unless she just gets an army of lower level skills. Arca Delenda-esque, the box must be destroyed. Yes, I had that prepared. Okay. That was a lot. That was a lot of hate for the box. A lot of hate. Wow. A
Don't even
lot
know
of
where to
hate.
start there. Just wow.
It's a lot to go through, honestly. But I do think the fact that you can only do it once, like you can only do an item once, is a pretty big limitation. But it kind of depends on how long the box can keep going and keep duplicating things. That's probably another limitation we'll see in the future. Is at some point it's going to be like, nope, I'm pooping out for a bit. You can come back and get me in a month. Maybe it has to do with the other versions of the box. Maybe those other versions, tie into this version and they have some limiting factor. But we'll see. It's all up in the air. Also, I don't think Aaron is going to, or Lionette is going to even get close to crashing any economies. Like, she's not stupid. Adding 1,000,000 gold coins to the economy right now isn't going to crash it. It's not going to crash. It could crash the local economy if she just did it for the local economy, but I don't think she's going to dump 1,000,000 gold coins into the local economy. And on global scale, just 1,000,000 gold coins isn't going to crash it. It just won't. It's not enough. But yeah, Aderon, do you have anything else to add for that comment?
Nope.
Okay. Then yeah, we'll move on to Bleach Soul first, and then Yash afterwards. Bleach Soul, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I have some reservation about the box as well, like everybody else. As long as they can do like these, what I consider small stuff, like if they begin to like replicate uh, tier 7 8 scrolls and relic items, then it will be like broken as fuck. Sorry for the expression, it will be very broken. And it has to be hard. There should be hard limits. Like my reservation with Pisces' ability about restoring cities and stuff, there has to be hard limits or the system will be broken. I mean, if she can, if the box can, recreate all kind of OP like scrolls and artifacts and spell books and whatnot, then I mean, the series will as much as end now because there's no need for any kind of struggle or anything. They can nuke any city on the world from the Wandering Inn with like 10,000 scroll level 8 spells or something. So I think there should be hard limit on it, or else it will break not only the system, the story as well.
Yeah, if there's literally no limits whatsoever, then yes, the skill pretty much invalidates a lot of story material that you could have. But I do think there's going to be some limits. Like we still haven't seen, like I've said, I think 2 times already before now, we still haven't seen any heavily magical item be put in the box. That could be the hard limit. You can't be putting extremely magical items in the box. That could be the limit. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you, Bleach. I don't know. Did you have any response to that?
I don't.
Okay. Yash, you're up.
Thank you. So I think we are ignoring one big drawback that's already been talked about. That's it takes time as the value of the thing that's being duplicated goes up. It will take time to duplicate. Of course, there's a size issue. Anything more than 1 foot uh, cubed cannot fit in the box. So anything large like birds, catapult, ballista bolts, something like that will not be able to probably won't get replicated. First off. Second off, I think as the value of the item being duplicated goes up, the time it takes to scan that item also goes up. Let's say it's a scroll. One, I think Pirate is going to set a hard limit on the magic thing. But if she doesn't set a hard limit on the magic thing, she might set a hard limit on the value thing. And I don't think it's going to be a linear progression. It might be like an exponential progression in the time that it takes to increase. Let's say you have a scroll which costs 700 gold coins or 1,000 gold coins. I think it might take like 1 year or 2 years for it to, uh, for it to uh, be duplicated. And I don't think it's just going to start spitting them out. I think maybe one every year or one every 3 years. Again, I don't think it's a linear curve. The thing with gold coins and maybe spitting them out faster is maybe arbitrary items or easy items. Think of it as 3D printing, right? Like maybe easier items can be easily duplicated. Uh, there's not much complicated about a gold coin. It's like 40% gold and an alloy mixture. There's not a lot going on with garlic either, but things of magical nature might require more scanning effort. I think they will be able to scan magical things. I hope they don't, but I think they will. I just think it'll take a longer time. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Those are all reasonable limitations. The only thing is that we did see, Lionette kind of speed up the production of gold coins at the very end of the chapter. So who knows if the speed itself is actually a limiting factor. But I think it will be. Like, there has to be some catch. There has to be. It
Oh,
can't be
there's
perfect.
definitely going to be a catch. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Pirate is not stupid. She's not going to end her series here.
Never. Fight
Uh,
Yeah.
broken with gods are broken, and you fight broken with broken.
uh, I don't know. Uh, there has to be a catch. There really does. We'll see
I'm
what it is.
I'm I'm certain that it is. I don't think it's going to be something very obvious. I don't think we'll get to know about it right now. I think it's going to seem too good to be true for a while. And then we'll have the consequences come in thundering and be like, oh shit, we should have seen that.
Maybe no. Like maybe in the future, you'll lose all that you gained. Like it's a box of incontinuity. Right now you get 1,000,000 gold coins, and then you're gonna have to pay back 1,000,000 gold coins in the future
On.
somehow.
Now, Teriak increased the time on the garlic pod, right? What is it called? The garlic clove? Clove of
Yeah,
garlic?
he used chronomancy on it. Yeah, on the bulb.
Chronomancy on it. And he went 3 years, right?
Yeah, years. Yeah.
And even after 3 years, it was just a shoot.
It still was just garlic.
No, no, no. I mean, I'm sure it was still just garlic, but how much
It
had it
grew.
grown? Because garlic grows really fast.
Yeah, it seemed like it was like multiple bulbs of garlic with shoots coming off.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, then I suppose it's fine. It just seems awfully slow. I think maybe the efficacy is not that great or something. I think there's going to be something off for sure.
We
We
don't
just
know
don't
which
know what.
generation of the garlic it was. Like, maybe you already grow the patch and grow it again and again and again and again. We don't know which generation of garlic that was, to be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you, Yash. Anything you want to add on that, Edron?
No comments from me.
Okay. Alias says, someone mentioned accountants on the other server, and I agreed. Someone somewhere has market analysis skills and knows something just went haywire. Well, as long as those coins aren't in the market, they're not affecting the market. So I don't know if a skill would pick it up until they're actually affecting the market.
Liana just made the down payment. Today she used the box for the gold.
Yeah, but
That's true. She
Mm,
already made like tens of thousands of goals
uh,
in actions just in the first day.
I'm not sure that's gonna, but still, okay. So she used some part of it, but that's still just 100,000 gold. Let's just 100,000 gold compared to the entire market. I'm not sure
Yeah, no,
that's
it's
gonna
not
do
much.
anything.
If Salasra bought like for a piece of land for 70,000 gold pieces, it's not much what Lionel is doing right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's read Civ Seer's gigantic thoughts. Oh man. Civ Thoughts box. The box is insane. People are right to declare Aaron enemy of the world. This is going to be amazing. I can't believe it. If it was any other author, I'd have dropped a series when a money dupe glitch was handed out by the author. But Pirate, I'm excited to see how this goes. I trust Pirate this. And it's hilarious. The amount of stuff Aaron could stuff in this box is insane. Air gel, fucking potions of regen, the goddamn lightsaber. Actually cracks me up that Aaron has two solutions to healing potion shortage. She can dupe air gel or healing potions in the box. Or she could create a slave race of healing slimes. The funniest part of this box is Aaron is the only person in the world who can actually have this skill. She gives so little shit about money, she'll remove the coin when Calc goes on a holiday and she's sick of cooking. She'll dupe cakes so she doesn't have to make them. Aaron's inability to care about money and her knowledge from the Deadlands, the sage Velzy, who did crash the economy by making gold, makes Aaron paradoxically the best person in the world to give a dupe box. I do think you're right, and that Aaron, she has no desire to crash the economy at all. Lionette is smart enough and has Yaron right there to know when too much is going to be too much, and they won't crash the economy either. So yeah, they're definitely the best person to give this box to. And I think that was part of the reason why the system, even considered doing this in the first place for Aaron, is because it saw like the possibilities and it saw that this wouldn't be abused horribly, or it's abused in the right ways.
I don't know. I don't really think the system cares about abuse. And if somebody
Yeah,
abuses
okay, yeah, that's
stuff,
right. That's
because the
true.
system is just, I give you something, do it whatever you want. Be an
That's true.
asshole, be a saint.
Absolutely correct there, Adron. I was thinking wrongly. You're right.
And by the way, awesome that Misha tried a Scrooge McDuck and dive into gold coins and just hit her head.
Oh man, it just
Yeah,
like
that's
she probably was watching cartoons and saw that happen once, and was just like, nope,
Scrooge
nope.
should have been dead a long time ago and had trauma.
Yeah, poor Marsha. Can't live the dream. Oh well. Alias says they talk in reply to Sir Bear. They talked about only having like 1,000 cloves of garlic. That's not years worth. That's not much. That's not that much even. Garlic is important. LOL. Yeah, we need like 20 billion bulbs of garlic, and then we'll be good. Okay.
Nope, we don't. I don't like garlic.
What?
I have been raised like a vampire from my mother.
Blasphemy.
She doesn't like garlic, and I don't like it either.
Okay. I don't think we can be friends anymore, Aderon. Oh. Anyway, Sidehammer says, dupe the wand. Yeah, I think a lot of people want that wand duped. Then you'll have like 50 dryads. Right there. Print the dryads. Easy. Wovwu says, it is super dangerous and needs to be handled appropriately. With so many spies probably still lingering around the inn, people will notice the increase in spending, but rather than being a problem, it'll be a vehicle for Lionette to level. How she handles it will be a big factor. I think Lionette will stop the money replication after a while and will turn to hinting at donations from other sources to explain the sudden influx of money. Friends of the inn won't look too closely, and enemies of the inn will assume the friends of the inn loan them gold. I suspect the box won't work on magical items because it does need more limitations for what it can do. So far, we have only seen it work on mundane items. Yep. Only on mundane so far. You're right. Yeah, I really agree with what you say about how Lionette can pass off money donations pretty easily from, obviously she won't pawn it off on Nears. She could possibly say that, Fedorhep she won't even say where they come from. She could just hint that, it came from Fedorhep, or hint it came from Calenfer. She has a lot of different allies. She can try and hint at gave them this, but I think gold is much easier to pawn off coming from like a foreign source rather than something like healing potions and then getting gold from the healing potion. Healing potions are something in a lot of demand right now, and if the inn just suddenly starts pouring out healing potions, that's going to raise a lot of questions. Unlike
I
gold.
would still do that just to be safe.
I would
mean,
do it to like have a stockpile of healing potions for
Yeah.
yourself, but I
They have a
wouldn't.
Garden of Sanctuary. It's a perfect vault.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell those potions. Is
Nope.
what I wouldn't do. Sir Bear says fair. I checked and you were right. I confused with that quote. And the quote says, or suddenly wondering how you could offload 20,571 pieces of garlic every day. And that's garlic bulbs, by the way, not garlic cloves. Cloves are the thing inside garlic bulbs. So they have 20,571 garlic bulbs. That's a lot of garlic. It really is. That's a ton of garlic. Mel said, who said you can't use a different gold coin? How about gold bricks or nuggets? What about silver coins, other forms of currency? Everything had a value and can be laundered. I would not be surprised to find out that anything that's just like pure gold could not be put into the vault anymore, could not be put into the box anymore. Silver coins definitely is different, I think. In my mind, that's very obviously a different substance, so it can still be put in. But go on, Adrian?
Then put gems in there.
Yeah, gems. And there are a lot of different kinds of gems too. So, yeah. But I think with the garlic, it's not like they put in the exact same piece of garlic again. It was just any piece of garlic could not go back into the box at all. So, in a similar fashion, I think any piece of gold cannot be put into the box again once it's taken out. Kynea says, chapter ended with Lionette waiting for the catch, and it is quite probable there is a big one. I also think that maybe they should confide it to Kershia, Fedorhep, or maybe Ilveris. It is a risk, but they are probably going to notice that something is happening anyways, and they could help them not get noticed by more dangerous people and or to smuggle the things they could duplicate. There's absolutely going to be some leakage of this information. They have to be really careful about it though, and even people like Fedorhep, who were completely behind the inn, it's really dangerous to tell him because Fedorhep might see that I don't actually know how Fedorhep would react to this, but it's just dangerous to let him know because this is all very dangerous to the economy in general.
Again, I think any superpower would either kill her or try to get her under control, because that thing can break nations.
Yeah,
That
like
box can break nations.
we saw Magnolia was mentioned as one of the people who would try and kill Aaron if she knew about this
Yeah.
box. And it's just like, yeah, Magnolia probably would try and kill Aaron, knowing about the box.
With
It's
that box in 5 days, Lionette could make Salazar obsolete. With
yeah,
just
it's
printing out
crazy.
tons and tons of gems, and all of a sudden Salazar would be nothing. They would be broke in a few days. It's just thinking about it.
It's a very dangerous ability. So yeah, just
I love it.
letting people know needs to be done with the utmost care. And Kolfa, you can say that that wasn't done with the utmost care, but when you look at Kolfa, at the end of the day, she's a vampire, and
Yeah.
she if she does anything against the inn, she knows that they have this other secret just hanging right over her head, and she just won't. Like it probably won't even cross her mind. But anyways, Ilya says she was saying the speed of scanning, not production. Like a magical item might take a lot of time before it can start to spit out copies. That was in reply to Yash talking about how long it would take to scan an item originally. And you're right, that was what Yash was referring to. Elias also says, maybe, but I think it's possible high-level skills give some predictive market analysis, like someone might have an idea something is about to shift, and with what commodities. Someone somewhere is very confused why gold coins are going down in value in their head, I believe. That could be it. That could be one. That could be a skill that someone has, but there are other skills that make money appear out of thin air, like I think like the royal tax thing. There was like a tax skill or a tip skill where people would tip you more, and I think it kind of just produced gold basically.
That's true.
So those skills, it's not like those skills don't exist. They're just obviously not near the level of this skill. Bleach Soul says Lionette can claim the gold came from the new dungeon. Lionette should send Norman code to clear the dungeon. The knights get most of the artifacts and gold, and she can get the rest. I genuinely don't think Norman and the Knights of the Solstice are going to be used to clear the dungeon. Like that's just not what they're good at. The only one among them who's there's two, I guess. Lara and why am I blanking on his name? Yaloise. Yaloise are both adventurers, but I don't think either of them are really dungeon divers. Maybe Lara is?
Jewel.
Jewel? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, Jewel too. But I don't know if any of them are really dungeon divers. We know Yalawi's at least really isn't. His team goes around doing good deeds outside of dungeons, fighting monsters. So I just don't see the order being used in the dungeon. Just not their real strong suit. Dart Time Guru says, grand design of Isthmianis, economic crisis, sounds like more levels. Exactly. More and more levels. Action Kermit says, what if Lionette earmarked a bunch of the gold to pay back people who lost their shirts in the new lands or from the Golden Triangle scam? That could be a good use for it, yeah. Like Lionette could do a lot with this. Just we'll see how she does. How she does it. I'm gonna come back to you, Brack. I'm just gonna read out the rest of the comments and then you'll speak. Alias says Wiggles gets it. Garlic belongs in all food. I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far, but garlic is very good. Sir Barry says kill Aderon. For context, this is a joke. I don't want Aderon to die. Thank you for explaining it's a joke. Sivseer says down with Aderon.
What?
It's
What?
because
What?
you said garlic was awful. You don't
Oh
like
my
garlic.
goodness, you garlic lovers! What's wrong with you people? That stuff is smelly. It's not tasty. Down with garlic. Garlic haters unite. I'm
Okay.
doing that here live record. Everybody, garlic sucks.
This garlic hate is not sponsored by the after chapter discussion. I want everyone to understand that. This is only sponsored by Eteron. Action Kermit says, "Be nice." Yash Ketchum says, "Honestly, that was my first thought when in reply to Sidehammer saying dupe the wand." Igneal says, "Aaron's box can solve world hunger." It could. Very well could. For a while, anyways. Alien says, "I had this thought." Actually, just going back to Igneal, one thing about world hunger is actually transporting the food everywhere. That's a major part about solving world hunger, and the box does absolutely nothing about that. Alias says, "I had this thought, going to that Salazar Drake turned out to basically just be to teach the reader about minting, but actually it was a really dangerous leak of information that not even their regular allies are safe knowing. Not really makes sense that the kids were sent to ask him for the most valuable gold coin. Well, at the end of the day, Lionett is literally just going to give it back to him. So it's kind of, at this, you can come up with an excuse for that, and just like the fact that she's returning it right away helps." Ed Genesis says, "I agree, especially when Lana just went, 'Yeah, we aren't using that coin,' LOL, after kids got back." Ilya says, "All food." Civ Series said, "Eteron is about to discover he's the cradle." Ed Genesis says, "Eteron, garlic isn't tasty. Rest of the world, I guess garlic is one of the most popular spices in the world for no reason." Oh, poor Eteron. It's okay, Eteron.
I will fight. I will die on that hill, get isekai'd, and fight again.
All right, Brack, you wanted to speak. Are you still here?
Yes.
Hello.
One thing I'm not sure if it was taken into consideration is that this is in the end still Erin's skill. Currently, she's under magical quarantine, but I'm still waiting for her to, just summon the box on accident, pull out the coin without knowing what's going on whatsoever, and just mess up all of Leonette's plans. She'll be like halfway through the down payments, not enough gold, and all of a sudden they don't have coins anymore. It'll be great.
Yeah. Great. I thank you, Brack. Dark Time Gua says Eteron, more like Edurong. Wow. Such punnage. Ed Chancer says, "You will die on that hill, then your body will be seasoned with garlic and it'll be lovely." Sipsir says, "Aspect in Aaron has just been spewing coins of garlic for a day now." That's an image. I don't know if it's a good image. It's a weird image, that's for sure. Okay. I think we're good on this question. That took up a lot of time, which isn't surprising because, we talked about everything about the box, basically. Do you have any other questions you want to get to? Maybe the
I
Kolfa
would
or
talk
Tessa
about
one?
Kolf, but maybe off record, because anybody who has to edit this is gonna cry otherwise.
It has been, it is already at an hour and 20
Yeah.
minutes. So, okay. We talked a lot about Selys, we talked a lot about general impressions, and we talked a lot about the box, but we're going to have to end it here because it's been quite a long discussion already. If you guys want to stick around, go ahead. I'm going to end the recording. This was the after chapter discussion for 10.01L, second chapter of Volume 10. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it.